adjective would you use to describe Frieren? Adorkable? Would that be the type of adjective you would use? Hello, hello, and welcome to another review episode. One that I've meant to do for a long time that I haven't done, just because time and everything like that. My name's Brendan Wheeler. Welcome to the channel. The reason why I got straw mouths because when I was in the army, I had like heat stroke thing, so I can't talk right unless I bite down on something. Some weird lasting effect from it. It sounds like this other than that. So, I mean, I can talk like this to you, but I don't think you want to hear me stumbling and everything. So this helps me get by. It's a weird thing. I don't know. Stumble's like, moving on. Alrighty, so Frieren. Constantly being in the social media aspects of everything going on, I'm constantly reminded of it. And I was like, okay, let me check it out. I checked it out actually during the fall time last year when it first came out. And I was like, oh, okay, let's get into Frieren. I heard a lot of good things about it, and I started watching it. And I absolutely love the show. Frieren is amazing. Um, it's a fantasy show detailing about an elf who the story is done. She's completed the story. They saved the world and defeating the big giant demon dude, the big boss. But because she's like an immortal elf, it's like, what is time? She has her friends, then her main friend who kind of liked her, Himmel, the hero, 50 years later when he's probably an old man and everything dies after a 10-year journey. And once they did the thing with the hero bit and all that, and she's basically the same. And she's like, I never got to know the guy or anything like that. And she's kind of saddened by it. But so she kind of goes to kind of understand what it was about and everything. And then she gets assigned a new quest with a new apprentice and everything else from her old compatriots and everything like that. So it's just like you're seeing after the step and a new journey happening, a new adventure, and Frieren being kind of the main character. Frieren's an ancient, elf. She's been around for 1,000 years. She's learned magic from Freya, who's like the biggest, well, second biggest magician among humans, you could say it was. And so she's able to see how time has changed over 1,000 years and everything, or the 50 years specifically since Himmel, the hero, because there's these ancient things called demons and all. I can get into so much about the show. Let me just jump ahead of the controversy before I get into everything else. A lot of people say Frieren is like, codified racist and everything like that because she doesn't accept demons and all that. There's like the demons are hunters that don't care about anything. They just want to kill humans and everything, and they take advantage of humanity's humanity and saying like, oh, about a mother and this and that. They don't care about that, nor do they understand it, nor do they really want to understand it, seemingly. And so there's nothing good about them. So Freedom's like, yeah, you can't make friends with these things. They're just going to kill them because the demons are just going to take advantage of you. And they obviously do multiple times. So, but a lot of people have issues with that. And it's just kind of like, you do realize absolute evil exists, right? Which is funny because these same people saying, oh, you can't call this absolute evil because it relates to all these things and different stuff like that. As soon as you bring up a certain political thing of like, say, someone who are right of them or anything like that, just being conservative or anything, really, if you disagree with them on anything, it doesn't matter what your political stance is, they call you evil in every name of the book. And it's just kind of like, so you say you don't believe in evil, but... Okay, moving on from that, it's just kind of like there's a lot of controversy you see online with stuff like that. And as far as the show itself, you may say, oh, is the show political? No. The show is not political in the slightest. It's part of the reason why I liked it so much. It's like, it's not being political in the slightest. It has politics in the world, like dealing with the magical guild and like the different royalty and stuff that's there, kind of how the demons work and accepting them or not and everything else. The qualifications like, is magic good, bad, stuff like that. That's all part of the world, but there's nothing politics from our day and age in it. So it's like, I wonder why the show is great. Moving on from the politics stuff though. So the show is an adventure. So at times it is slow because you're just seeing Frieren like going over books and everything, refusing to get up because she's tired and wants to sleep in. And Fern has to be the adult in the room, even though she's a teenager, and be like, you need to get up. Mistress Frieren, you need to get up. It's just funny how all that works and everything like that. But so even though, yeah, you'd think, oh, Frieren, she's very intelligent and everything like that. Yeah, she is. She's very wise and different stuff like that. But she's very just like aloof in some ways. She likes chasing after grimoires, like having treasure. She likes searching through treasure chests, even though that she knows they're probably going to be a fake mimic and they're going to snatch her and everything. And she repeatedly falls for it multiple times, even though she knows it's going to be a mimic. But her idea and thought of like, it could have it in it, but it doesn't. You know it doesn't, but it could. You know it's going to be a mimic. What's the harm it will do? Snatch. The Frieren's just like, are you just, what is wrong with you? Even though the people are like, oh, the great Frieren, she helped, and then just watch her like, why is she doing that when she knows it was? So that's why I asked in the beginning, is she adorkable? There's just, for some reason, Frieren's just that way. You have a different cast of characters besides getting into the old ones that she was with, her compadres, companions, and things with Himmel, because we have all the flashbacks with that, all the things with Eisen and Himmel, though she keeps calling him a corrupt priest. I watched the English dub, by the way, and that's fine. But she gains new companions that are going to travel with her on possibly another 10-year journey. The main one is called Fern, which I was debating about bringing it up in this or not, but Fern is she's learned magic and everything from Frieren and everything, and she's human, but she's very adept in learning all about magic and everything, and she possibly, from a canon point of view, I can see her passing Frieren as far as like possibly overall power. That's possible, but experience wise and everything, because Frieren is basically almost immortal. I don't have no clue how old she could be. Fern is not going to obviously pass on that aspect, but Fern is obviously very powerful and talented and everything, and she's only a teenager. She was learning since she was a little girl from a young age, and where the season one ended, it's kind of like where she was at I think 18. I think she was about 18. But I liked Fern as a character because she's, not to get into every spoiler, but she chooses like magic spells like your clothes are going to be always clean. That's what you want to choose as a reward? Yeah. And I'm just like, well, that's a useful spell and everything, and something she likes because she likes to be clean and everything. She retains her personality, and in a way, she has to grow up quick. Because sometimes Frieren is, again, a bit of a dork. She wants to sleep in, she doesn't want to do this, want to do that. And it's just kind of like, and even then, as an elf, because it's just like, oh, what is time to us? Like, they don't even want to, elves are quote unquote going extinct in this world because it's like, oh yeah, we're kind of going extinct. I guess they should have babies. Anyway, is there a new grimoire out somewhere? That's basically how she approaches it. She's like, who cares? Or whatever. It's just like, oh, that's sad. But it's like the elves got so used to being like, oh, what is time? It's like the opposite of Warhammer, where the elves really get into a lot of debauchery. These elves in this world are just like, eh. So it's just kind of an interesting contrast from that comparison. But Fern, I debate about this. I wrote a book, this book here. It's going to be a series. I have 2 books in it, and there's going to be a third one coming out sometime. I have a character also with long hair that's also like a witchy magic person, like Fern is. So I looked at that and I was like, wow, she's kind of a lot like my character, Yenfer. But not exactly and everything. It was just the way the long hair is and purple. And I just think of, the different character I made, who else I kind of based her on, and think of Raven also from Teen Titans and stuff. I'm just thinking, like, what is it with purple magic users? And I mean, like, purple haired magic user. Why is that is that a stereotypical thing? I mean, what are we doing here with that? Is that a stereotype thing? I don't know. Why does it work well? I don't know. But I have a character who, look wise, Fern kind of matches how that character looks. Not fully. I think she's shorter than how I describe my character and everything. But it's just kind of like, huh, that's interesting. I wrote that before that, but before I watched the show. But I just kind of relate, like, huh, that's interesting how that character is and all that. Then there's Mr. It's kind of weird how they say their name, Mr. Stark. He's like the apprentice to Eisen the dwarf, who's like the fighter and everything like that. And obviously, it's kind of interesting how Fern and him are more likely going to get together. Even they had like this magic priest guy, magic cleric, I guess, healer, and just for a while, and he was just frustrated, like, those dudes should date already. It's just like, Now, I know that doesn't sound very exciting. It's like, well, where's the action and everything? Of course, they do fight demons and stuff. And what happens with that whole demon thing in the town is one of the most metal endings to anything I've seen. It's just Freeman just telling her to do that, and it's just like, dang, dang. Freeman doesn't play. It's just like, wow, that's pretty metal, epic, but metal. But so there is action and everything. There isn't so much blood except in the parts of those demons and everything like that. That's the only real bloody parts. Um, and there's, but you could say again, it's kind of slow. Like they spend months trying to stop, trapped inside a cabin, because it snowed out. It's like, okay, well, why don't we just train and everything while we're in there and stuff like that? Or they go to a town, they spend time with the town because part of one little story that was really interesting is the guy lost his son, so he's using Stark as a stand-in for him for a little bit, and he has to make a public appearance. So because he doesn't have a son, so he's gonna have someone take the part. So Stark's gonna do it, and he has to do a dance, and he dances with Fern, and it's just kind of like it's interesting because even though the show is has these slow moments and everything, I love it because it shows that it is in fact an adventure. It's taking its time, it's taking its pace to go through the whole thing. Yes, there's epic adventures with the dungeons and everything at the end, the fights with the clay doppelgangers and everything like that. But it's just like very interesting of how it's just all feels like a natural progression. They're spending time doing things. They're doing stuff. It's not just okay. We're gonna go to one funny adventure to one another funny adventure. We're going here to there. They break down in the middle of the thing on a wagon because the just stuff happens, and it's just like they have to spend time fixing it and everything. It's like it feels like lived in and real. That's just part of the reason why this show is just like wow. It's great for that reason. I don't know when season 2 is going to be coming out, but I look forward to it immensely. I haven't read the manga stuff yet or anything, but it actually is made me interested to like Spy Family to actually try to find those books and try to read them. One day I'd like to, because that's very interesting. I think you could do that online, but I'd actually rather have the physical books if I can. Um, I think because I read a lot of C.S. Lewis, I'm reading through Hideous Strength of the C.S. Lewis space trilogy right now, and I've read Tolkien's Lord of the Rings books and stuff like that. I want to say that I've seen some other comments online and everything, and I'm in agreement with this. This might be that show. I know Tolkien didn't necessarily like a lot of stuff, seemingly from his personality and everything. He had like trains, stuff like that. But this might be one of those shows where Tolkien and Lewis would definitely like. I feel because it has slow and moments and everything. I think Tolkien would appreciate it to a point, and especially C.S. Lewis, seeing how everything goes down and stuff. I think C.S. Lewis would absolutely eat this show up. I think he would love this show and every way. It's just kind of like it's just that unique and has that flavor of like this is good, and I can keep raving about Frieren as much as you want me to, but I love Frieren the show. So, have you seen it? Have you watched it? What do you like about it? What do you think about all the different stuff and everything? Like, even the characters towards the end, they're like not necessarily bad guys. They're just like normal people having different goals and everything. And like I forgot his name offhand because it was again months ago when I watched it, but it's just so fresh in my mind and everything. I forgot the guy's guy, but he's got like a monocle and everything like that. But he's not necessarily a bad guy and everything. He comes off kind of thing, but then you get his backstory, his motivation, and everything. It's like this guy's just he's actually kind of cool. But he's Dietrich, I forgot his name. But he's an interesting kind of character and everything. And it's just again, everyone has their own motivations and everything. They're not necessarily good or bad and everything, but it's just interesting and like how stuff goes. I'm like, oh, interesting. But it's just a very layered, very well written, excellent story and everything. And I hope it continues that way throughout the rest of its run. I don't know how everything's going, but it's just awesome. I can so Frieren, extremely awesome. If like I like as much Spy Family Frieren, very much awesome. I'm sorry it took me so long to talk about this show. I wanted to do it months ago when I officially finished watching it back in the fall time, but I just work and everything, school. I just never got to it. So now I finally got to it. Here we go. So, have you seen Frieren? Let me know what you think. Again, I've watched it on Crunchyroll and everything. I love the show. It's awesome. I'll see you in the next one whenever I make another review. Goodbye.